I'm gonna start the boil. I'm just getting it started, but you don't leave a lid on during the boil. I understand there's some sort of chemical it puts off or something, tannins or something that you don't want in there. So you don't leave the lid on. I'll have to look up why. Heck of a color. Okay. Once she begins the boil, 1 hour. Getting there. Getting close to boil. You'll notice when you get close to boil, she gets a little more foamy on top. I was just watching through my window and I seen a burst of steam. So that means I'm on to my boil. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. We have our royal boiling starting. About a half hour in, I'm going to add in some hops. Then at 15 minutes in, I'm going to add in a different set of hops, plus the Irish moss. And I will also drop in my chiller that I made now. Okay, there's my chiller. It's all connected to the garden hoses, the in and the out. And the reason I'm going to drop it in at the 15 mark is because it will sterilize it. That's the word I'm looking for. It'll sterilize it and it'll be clean. And then once it's all done after it's 1 hour, I just start running the cold water through. Bring it down to about, I'm going to bring it down to 35 degrees Celsius first because I need to steal a cup or two of it so I can start my yeast once I get it at 35 degrees Celsius. So then I'm going to start the yeast, chill that down to 20 slowly. Try and slow it down there because it's going to take a little while, about a half hour for the yeast to get ready. Then I'm going to transfer that. Once it's cooled down, it'll go into this jar, but I got to do a final cleaning on this jar, which you guys don't really need to see. I already explained about cleaning. I'm going to use this and give it a quick swish beforehand, rinse it out, and then I'll transfer all that into here. And then once it's all in here, then I'll add the yeast. 1 teaspoon of Irish moss, my citron. Here goes my moss. Don't know if you saw that. Well, and there we go. I got 15 minutes left. And the reason I'm throwing this in, this is going to be the sterilization process. Okay, let's just do this. Let's set this down. This is my chiller. I'm gonna just set it in now. Wow, that changed the bubbly once I threw those hops in. I'm gonna set this in now because that'll sterilize everything up. Pardon all the bugs. It's my beer. I don't want to lose my hops, right? As soon as it cooled down, because I dropped the chiller in, it caused all the hops that was bubbling up on the side. Ooh, a little hot on the feet. Oh, jeez, yeah, that's a little warm on the foot. Caused all my hops to cool down and settle up on the side. So, just gonna give it a little scrape back in, get my hops back where it belongs. Okay. Greenhorn mistakes here, people. Yeah. Don't worry about the bugs. So I gotta get this prepared before it gets here. Pop, clean. 1 teaspoon. Put that off. I'm gonna add some water, pour it in, give it a swish, dump it out, put the plastic bag back on top. I want to make sure this is prepped and completely ready. It had the original other stronger cleaner in it. And a little bit of spill, who cares? Okay, so I want that because I have to remove that other cleaner because it's a stronger cleaner and I don't want it to mess up my brew. That's it, just give it a little cleaning around it. I'm gonna dump it back out. I'm gonna set it like that because I'll give it a little drain later, a little extra drain. Done with that, I can save it in my other bucket, in my barrel, where I use it for a lot of other cleaning. Because that stuff lasts a long time. Put this back on for the time being. I'm gonna set that on the side again. Just want it to get as much dribble stuff as off as I can, and then I'll just dump it out again. Hope you can see that. We're at 30 degrees. Okay, that's my beef. Turning off the water. Stop cooling. Okay. Now, cooling's done. I'm stopping there because I want it to drag out a little longer. Okay, in here, I'm giving a little rinse with my hands and everything. This is my crystal sulfate stuff. Again, this is learning stuff. Beginner stuff. And I'm a beginner, so I'm not really going to get too fancy. Taking this at 30 degrees. Okay? That's the plan. To get it started early, I'm adding it into a much smaller amount. Yeast is in there. Now we wait 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes in, we can see it's gotten a little bit of foamy and bubbly on it. Now I'm supposed to stir. So follow exactly what it says on here. Stir briefly, and then let sit for 5 minutes. Doesn't say how fast or how much you're supposed to stir, so I'm gonna give her. Done. So I'm at 19 degrees. Wow. 19, 20 degrees. Shut down my cooler, and I'm gonna pull it out. And we're just gonna throw it right down here. I'm not too concerned about it. And we're down at our degrees that we want. We're gonna put our lid on, and I need 2 hands to carry it inside. Now, my yeast has had its 5 minutes, but I'm not gonna add that in immediately. I'm just gonna let it do its thing because at the same time, I still have to wait. And once this is all transferred down into there, then I have to take my bubbler and add oxygen to that so the yeast has oxygen to use while it turns it into alcohol. All right, well, I started the bubbling process, but the hose doesn't stay in. I had to figure out a way to get it to stay in, so I had to make sure everything was still nice and clean. So you still have to wash everything off. So this is what I've done. Is I wiped my spoon down. I threw a little elastic at the bottom, attached the elastic to this, dropped it into the bottom so I can get the bubbling going. There we go. There's a certain amount of time I got to bubble it for it. I'm gonna have to go back to the book. And oh wow, look at that yeast going. Holy mackerel. Wow, is that moving? Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. I hope you guys can see that movement in the yeast. Wow, that's awesome. That is beautiful. That's really going to help me out later on. But again, I'm over halfway down on this. That bottle's almost back to being full. Now I gotta go into one of my containers. There it is. And I gotta retrieve my airlock. And have the airlock, it's in the good cleaner solution. So I always make sure I got stuff, cleaner solution, always just sitting and ready to roll. And I have the airlock out. So once I'm done bubbling, get the yeast added, throw the airlock on, and let's see what happens. I've never had one bubble out yet, but I got a feeling this is gonna be my first time. All right, done running the bubbler. All my wort is now in my jar. I got a little bit of room. The yeast has bubbled up nicely. And now add it in. Now I know there's a little bit left on top. That's the way life goes. We'll see what happens. It's the worst that's gonna happen. I make more vinegar. Now it's just time to put my trap on. Done with the bubbler. All my wort is down into my carboy. Time to put in my airlock. Oh yes, and of course the yeast is already in. Wait and see what happens. Plus, I gotta keep on continuing on this with 4 more times because, yeah, I got all these other bottles I gotta get worked on yet. So, it ain't gonna be perfect. It's just gonna be the best of what I can do with what I got.